and George. Thank you for joining me today. I will be discussing some topics written about within Freakonomics, written by Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner. So to get started, I want to preface by stating that incentives normally drive human behavior. As a college student, this looks like graduation. I work hard, I do my assignments, I get good grades because I want to graduate. I want the reward of my diploma and the outcomes that come with higher education. So Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner discuss how incentives drive human behavior and day-to-day interactions as well within society and furthermore. Mostly, human behavior can be accounted for and can be predictable. However, there are often unseen consequences due to human behavior. There are three incentives outlined by Freakonomics. This would be social, economic, and moral. These are the types of topics that normally drive our day-to-day interactions and our decisions. So social incentives look like peer pressure in most cases, the social circumstances that leading us to make certain decisions, whether for bad or good. Economic incentives often look like financial reward and benefits to working hard and are often taken advantage of by certain people. Moral incentives is what we think is good or bad. Normally this is revolving around religion or how we were raised. It's really just your opinion, what drives your decision. And no matter the amount of planning, we often can't foresee the unintended consequence of incentives. And within the policy realm of our government and our society, it happens more than you would think. So within Freakonomics, they discuss the Cobra effect. This happened in India, where British policymakers noticed a high population of cobras within the ecosystem. So they put a bounty on cobra skins and hoping to lower the cobra population. However, they didn't account for human behavior and the financial reward. And what happened was that people started to farm cobras. So when the government essentially found out what was going on, they ended the policy, and what happened? Cobra farmers released their snakes, overall increasing the cobra population. So these unintended consequences can sometimes do more harm than good, and that's why it's so important to plan for these things as much as possible, even though it's almost never possible to think of every possible factor that might happen. This is also something discussed by Levitt and Dubner, and it's their most controversial chapter in many people's opinion when they discussed how Roe v. Wade led to a violent crime reduction in many states across America within a 30-year period. Now, cause and effect, and correlation does not equal causation. There is so many factors. It's a very controversial topic in general, but it was a very interesting one, and the work that they put into it was crazy, honestly. But overall, one thing is true for all incentives. There are pros and cons. A good example of this as well is paid time off. So within your workplace, often if you work hard, you get paid time off for vacations or sick days or emergencies. However, this can be taken advantage of in many cases. Hard workers, it's a motivation for them. They work harder so they get more PTO, but those that are somewhat prone to take advantage of systems within our society and within our workplaces, they take advantage of this by being dishonest. A good example of that is the Florida House of Representatives Act, which can cut teacher funding if student passing percentages are too low, which leads to teachers helping students essentially cheat on tests, and this No Child Left Behind law is pushing students through the system that aren't academically ready to be in the next grade. And we can't always account for the outcomes of our choices. However, we do see the outcomes eventually, whether it be the next day or 30 years from now. So by planning for human behavior as much as we can, understanding incentives and how they work, and being very intentional about the things that we do, we can rely on incentives to improve our lives and society. And that's why it's so important, and that's why Livette and Dubner went into great detail trying to map all of this out for everyone. I would like to list my works cited. First of all is Freakonomics, a rogue economist explores the hidden side of everything by Stephen Livette and Stephen Dubner. It was a great piece of work. We also talked about things from Nemours Foundation, Kids Health, article labeled Peer Pressure, Alan Scheuer's Academic Research and Action, the Role of Incentives and Rewards in Promoting Workplace Wellness, Well-Being, and Employee Physical and Mental Health, Liberty of Economics and Liberty, Supply and Demand, Markets and Prices, we also got a lot of our information from Freakonomics Radio. This is hosted by Stephen Dubner. We got information from 3 different shows that they did, labeled Abortion and Crime Revisited, The Cobra Effect, and Toward a Better Understanding of the Law of Unintended Consequences. We also mentioned Florida House of Representative, fact sheet labeled No Child Left Behind, Teresa Gibson et al., Engagement in Health and Wellness, an online incentive-based program, DOI.org, Incentives and Test-Based Accountability in Education, as well as Phil Murray's 2014, The Morality of Incentives. Thank you so much for taking a listen today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good day.